Hello, my name is Jorge Ávila, and today I'm going to analyze creative messages of three different ad campaigns. Let's start it. The first campaign is called How Far, and it's one of the well-known campaigns of Nespresso since they started with the What Else campaign starring George Clooney back in 2006. Carrying out a rhetorical analysis, it can be seen how most of the ad is an appeal to audience's emotions, in other words, pathos. The Nespresso's campaigns are known as being funny as well as comical, so this ad will not be an exception. This actor is John Dujardin, famous French actor, humorist, and television director, and he is, in this case, the partner for George Clooney, the brand icon of Nespresso. In order to understand why the company have chosen these two actors to perform in this ad, first we have to answer to one question. Who is the target audience? Well, the target audience of Nespresso are mainly people from 25 to 80 years old who drink coffee regularly, who are quite demanding, considering themselves as coffee experts, individuals who can be defined as classy or elegant, people who drink coffee not only for its energizer properties, but also for its flavor and as a way to have a break to relax. If you take a look at the people behind the actor, it can be appreciated the sort of consumers the company is trying to target. Individuals who dress elegant and who possibly belong to the upper class, given the fact that all of them seem to be in a fancy big property close to a lake, enjoying an event typical for this segment of the population.
Jean.
Now, let's take a look at the semiotics of this scene. The signifier is a physical entity that can include sounds, images, or letters to convey a meaning. In this case, the signifier is the last capsule. The signified is an interpretation of a signifier. In this scene, the last capsule represents more than a coffee capsule. It represents a prize the two actors are keen to compete for. This fight between the two of them represents the main message of the ad. How far will you go for an espresso?
Nice shoes.
A new actor appears on the scene. She's a young lady who seems to want the last capsule. George Clooney even has changed his shoes to get it. He plays the role of the good guy, so eventually she reaches her objective by using a sensual look to persuade him.
Thank you so much. Would you like milk?
No, thank you.
George Clooney finds out he has been deceived by the lady, so now is when the full play begins. The sense of humor is used to engage with the audience. The appeals to emotions, or pathos, is characterized by the use of vivid language, storytelling, and metaphors, as you can see in these scenes. It can be appreciated how it has been mentioned the quality of the coffee in all the ad, but by looking at the exclusive place they seem to be, the individuals behind the scenes and the values the actors represent, such as being classy, elegant, with a sense of humor, it can be deduced by the audience that the product that they are offering is more pricey and exclusive compared to its competitors.
George? Jean?
In this scene, George Clooney is looking for a way to get revenge, so decides to place the coffee made with the last capsule of Nespresso in a boat. By doing this, he is challenging the French actor to swim in order to get the coffee, something a normal person will never do for a coffee. But let's see what happened. This scene is funny and comical. The use of pathos is everywhere. But it is noticeable how the face of John changes after he tries the coffee. It seems that he's trying to transfer to the audience that the effort of trying to get that coffee was really worth it. And also, it shows in an exaggerated manner how far the actor will go to get an espresso.
How far would you go for an espresso?
What else? What else? What else? What else?
The French actor is struggling to pronounce the well known tagline of Nespresso, what else? A tagline is an enduring catchphrase that positions the product or the company. It is a succinct phrase that captures the essence of the campaign. The main purpose of this scene seems to be nothing but being funny, but the reality is that by repeating the tagline of the brand, the message is being reinforced in order to keep Nespresso in top of the consumer's mind when they think about capsule coffee.
What else?
The second ad I'm going to analyze is the Patek Philippe campaign called Generations, launched in February of 2015. The company has been using the so-called Generations campaign since 1996 without interruption, and the sentimental pairings of sweet family photographs and timeless watches is still going strong. As we can deduce from what we have watched so far, the advertisement is not going to try to convince the audience through giving facts, figures, and statistics, also known as logos, or appealing to personal credibility, also called ethos. The same as the last advertisement, pathos is going to prevail in this ad. The ad is divided in 5 different scenarios, all of them with almost the same structure. In this first scenario, we have seen an endearing moment between a kid and his dad. As you will notice, the watch is shown in very particular moments, just like this one, in order to let the audience do the association between the watch and having a tender moment with your children. In this second scenario, we have shifted the culture, but the message is still the same. It can be seen how the father, a seemingly important businessman, is showing to his child his business and ends up with the father looking at the skyline of Shanghai with his son, sending out a message that one day the business will be inherited to his son. This particular scene perfectly reflects the message of the campaign: you never actually own a Patek Philippe, comparing the watch with the business. The third scenario seems to take place in Japan. Mother and daughter are enjoying a seemingly important moment together, some sort of family tradition which takes place when the daughter reaches a certain age. The mother seems to be so proud of her daughter that she starts to cry. Again, the appeal to emotions is present in this scene. We can see the connection between a sentimental moment and the watch, as well as the passage of the time related with the main idea of the ad: buy a Patek Philippe, take care of it, and pass it to the next generation. In this scene, the daughter can't sleep and decides to see her mom while she is having dinner with her friends. The mom hugs her, showing the watch in her wrist. There are 2 different things to focus on in this scene. The first one is the decoration of the house and the way the people dress in order to understand who the target audience is. The classic and timeless style and conservative values prevails in the ad. Therefore, the target audience is not only the upper class who can afford the watch, but also individuals who possibly belong to the aristocracy. The second thing we should focus on is the semiotics. In this case, the signifier is the watch and the signified is the tender moment mother and daughter are spending together. We can see in this last scenario a typical family in a normal working day's morning. The husband is going to work and he's going to take the kid to school, and the wife says goodbye to both of them and get into the house. Paying attention to the way the father and his son dress, we can deduce that the kid is going to private school and the father has a good job. The same as the rest of the ad, the watch appears just in very particular moments, tender moments between parents and their children, appealing to emotions, pathos, in order to create a connection between the watch and having a sweet moment with their children. And ending the ad with the tagline, "You never actually own a Patek Philippe, you merely look after it for the next generation." The third ad I'm going to analyze is called Kids Dreams, and it was launched in 2018 by the car company Volkswagen. The main idea of this ad is to engage with the audience by showing innocent kids dreaming about their favorite cars, appealing to emotions, pathos.
If you could read my mind, love, what a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like
The ad shows all kinds of sports car. At first, it can seem to be strange that a car company shows other cars on his ad. Even you can think that it can be a comparison ad, such as the typical Coca-Cola and Pepsi ads. But the reality is that Volkswagen is taking advantage to other brands the company owns, such as Lamborghini or Bugatti, in order to create an eye-catching ad. The ad not only engages with young drivers, but with nostalgic consumers as well. As you can see in this scene, some kids sharing car stickers, an activity more common in the last century, individuals who grew up in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. Another appeal to this generation is showing up some classic models such as the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
in a castle dark or a fortress strong, with chains upon my feet.
Let's look at the semiotics on this scene. The signifier, this scene you see, is some kids trying to reach a sports car, in this case a Porsche, company also owned by Volkswagen. But the signified is kids trying to reach their dreams, illustrating perfectly the message of the ad. Keep on dreaming, kids. The kid seems to be simply enchanted by the impressive design of a Bugatti. Under the spell of such meeting and being hypnotized by the sheer beauty of the super sports car, the boy starts to move towards it without paying attention to crossing the street. Also, the message of hardly any child dreams of a Volkswagen appears, implying that Volkswagen is not flashy eye-catching car, but now we are going to see one feature the Volkswagen Golf has. The German carmaker knew exactly when and how to make its big entrance. Thanks to its automatic emergency braking system, the Volkswagen Golf, which happens to pass by on the same street right on time, helps to avoid a tragedy and saves the boy's life. This is a clear appeal to reason quality argument reasoning using facts and statistics to support a claim with evidence. In other words, logos, showing how the automatic emergency braking system in action and the statistics of 45% fewer third parties injury thanks to this system is giving strong reasons to the audience to buy this car.
Volkswagen.
Thanks for watching and I hope you have enjoyed the video.